Hi, North Haven family and friends, and welcome to this week's North Haven Voices. We are continuing our interviews with individuals that have key roles in our community in providing services to our families. And this week, I am honored to be interviewing Judy Rorrie from North Dallas Shared Ministries. So, hi, Judy, and welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's such a pleasure to be able to meet with you and learn more about you and about your organization. So I'd like to just start, if you will, just tell me about Judy. What's your background and how did you get to leading North Dallas Shared Ministries?
Well, but the truth is it's all because of North Haven United Methodist Church. And North Haven was one of the 5 founders of NDSM in 1983. We were very new to Dallas then. We had 3 children from ages 5 to 13 or 14. And some people at North Haven were involved with the establishment of NDSM and invited me to go to a couple of meetings. And so that's the way I began. At that time, NDSM was meeting on Forest Lane in the upstairs of a defunct Baptist church.
Oh, wow.
And so the NDSM started in October of '83. I came on board a few months later and thought it was a wonderful opportunity because I could do my volunteer work on Monday mornings, and then I could go home and I had nothing hanging over my head, no responsibilities to worry about. But soon, and this has just been the whole history of NDSM, people get very involved, they love it, they want to do more, and I became more and more involved, and that just evolved over a period of years. And we had a sad situation with NDSM in the early 90s. And the executive director was a Presbyterian minister. He was also suffering from AIDS, but it was at a time period when nobody talked about that or nobody admitted that. So eventually, and it was rather heartbreaking for NDSM. So I assumed even more responsibility at that time for the administrative part of NDSM. And then things continue to evolve, and so I was de facto, I guess, or just executive director for many years, and then since 1997, I have been officially the executive director of NDSM as a volunteer. You know, we have only one paid staff member here, and that is our executive director. I mean, that's me. It's our administrative assistant, and for years the junior league has been almost the entire funder for her position. So we're very fortunate in that way.
So before we get into more of the background, I mean, the programs that y'all provide at North Dallas Shared Ministries, what are your hobbies? What are your passions?
Well, I would like, number 1, my family is my passion. Number 2, and ranking pretty high up there is NDSM. Yeah. And in addition to that, I have very, very much enjoying needlepointing.
So, sweet.
So that's good.
Yeah. Does your family live local, your kids? Or?
Well, our kids grew up in North Haven.
Uh-huh.
2 of them are physicians in Dallas. Tamara is a radiologist at Methodist, and Kendra is a dermatologist affiliated with Baylor. And then our 3rd and youngest daughter is in Virginia, has 2 boys, and in total we have 6 grandbabies.
Oh, how sweet.
But they're not babies anymore.
Not babies anymore.
Yeah.
It's been difficult to see those in out of state, right?
Unfortunately, we've not seen them since last February.
Oh, so it will change. Things are changing. Yeah. So, Judy, why don't you go ahead and tell us about the programs that y'all offer? I know there's some significant programs because I think I was able to tour a year ago, like we talked about earlier. it's an amazing place, and I love especially all the multiple services that you guys provide. So I'll let you just tell us more about that.
Okay,
So,
I would be delighted to do that. When NDSM was formed, it was decided by first 5, soon 19, and now about 46 congregations that more could be done to provide services to an underserved area of Dallas, which was North Dallas, if the congregations banded together, if they did this as an ecumenical or interfaith effort.
mhm.
And it was a wonderful concept. Everybody thinks that North Dallas is a very affluent area, and yet there are areas of huge poverty, Buckman Lake area, the Vickery Meadows area, the, what am I thinking, Forest and Ardelia area, and increasingly far North Dallas into the Plano area, to name just a few. We do serve 24 zip codes now, plus we serve the homeless. So NDSM was started with the intent that volunteers staff the ministry.
Mm.
And we began doing food and financial assistance.
Mhm.
And shortly, for most people, employment is really the key to financial stability.
Right.
There are the disabled, there are the elderly, those, don't factor as much into that configuration. But because we realized that employment was so important, we then added employment assistance counseling.
Mm.
Oh gosh, maybe in the late 80s. And that was also a time when people who spoke English, not exclusively Spanish, were in a little bit better position to gain employment. So we began our ESL program then.
Oh, okay.
Both of those programs have been on hiatus since March of last year. However, we do have 2 of our ESL teachers who are teaching via Zoom their classes, so that's kind of nice. That's nice.
Good.
And employment assistance we just can't do it. So those became our next program. We've been considered an undesirable tenant at some locations because of the clients that we serve.
Mhm.
So but we've always been pretty much in the glamorous Harry Hines and Royal area. Okay. So in around the year 2000, we were offered more space where we were renting on what we now say is the wrong side of Harry Hines. So we investigated what we could do. And we looked at starting a legal clinic, for which we really had no need, a medical clinic, a dental clinic, and a clothes closet, which we had always said we would never do. And we decided to do a clothes closet and a medical clinic. And that was in April of 2000 that both were open. Again, totally staffed by volunteers. As NDSM grew, we did some restructuring of our governance. At one point, we had a member from each congregation be on the board, and that was healthy and good for a long while. But as we got more and more congregations and felt the need for some kind of specified qualifications, what was the governing board became the Advocacy Council.
Oh, okay.
And the Advocacy Council represents a member of each person who is a communicator between NDSM and the congregation.
Mm-hmm.
And then we decided that we really needed our own space. So in the year 2005, we moved into our current building, which is 20,000 square feet.
Wow.
No idea what we would do with all this space.
Mm-hmm.
And for the past until like 2 years ago, we were worrying then that we didn't have anywhere near enough space, but we were able to do some things so we can stay here. We were fortunate also because we moved into this building debt-free when we moved in. And so this building has been a big asset for us and has allowed us to grow. I forget when this was, but the medical clinic was designed to serve the uninsured, low-income uninsured people without access to health care. Then in 2002, because there was a father, this is a nice story. It was a father who had 3 daughters. Wasn't my husband. And He was a dentist, and his girls were going to ESD, and community service was a requirement. He
Oh,
decided if they were doing this, he had to do something. He came to us, and we, with his help and the cast-off dental chairs of a widower, from a widower, widow, we started our dental clinic. And the dental clinic was interesting. I always ask kids, sometimes adults, what do you think the number one service that our clinic did? And the kids would always answer braces, 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 and no, that was a want rather than a need. And adults would answer, they didn't usually get the answer right either, but the purpose of the clinic then was to do extractions because the people were in a great deal of pain. They had never had dental care, and that's what we could do, and that's all that we really had the resources to do. Big breakthrough for NDSM in, I think it was about 2013. I may be a little wrong here. But everybody is aware that Texas opted not to expand Medicaid. All right. So independently, what was then, well, I guess it was Baylor College of Dentistry came to us, as did UT Southwestern Medical Center.
okay.
Both wanted to partner with NDSM because they stood to gain bukus of money, but they had to show outreach to the low-income community.
Right.
So that was a huge breakthrough for us because, especially with, at that point, Baylor, which is now, of course, Texas A&M College of Dentistry, because Baylor provided us with a staff of dentists and 6 dental students and 4 dental assistants, and we were soon doing all dental services except crowns. We did root canals, we did hygiene, prosthetic devices, regular reconstructive or fillings, as well as extractions. So, and it also evolved from being a walk-in clinic to a walk-in clinic, but follow through. We wanted to become the medical or the dental home for our patients. So subsequent visits were set so that they could have regular tooth cleanings and teeth cleanings, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're right.
So that was good. Similarly, UT Southwestern came on board and they supplemented our volunteer medical staff.
Okay.
The partnership. The volunteers did mostly the night clinics and helped in the day clinics, but we were able to move to having more regular clinics rather than a women's clinic on Thursday afternoon every other week, that type of thing.
Right. Okay.
The bigger change came in 2018. I believe this was a huge, huge honor for NDSM. We were approached as one of 2 clinics or agencies with which UT Southwestern is working. They wanted to do a big expansion of their role with us. And so we have a large, almost all of our physicians now are providers. There's still a combination of NDSM volunteers staffing the clinic, but there's a bigger staff from UT Southwestern. They're paid employees who are based here.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
And the change that came about then in I think May of 19. I get mixed up because it's, and I apologize for that. But we were able to change clinic hours from 9 to 3 to 7 to 7, Monday through Friday, which was primarily to accommodate the needs of a working poor population.
That is wonderful, wonderful.
So that's wonderful, and we're a medical home to many people because we're doing chronic diseases as well as acute. Our women's health program is very good for primarily the prevention of breast cancer, cervical cancer, whatever. So our relationships have what we've learned. And am I talking too much? Probably.
No, you're perfect. This is really very informative.
What was I going to say? One of the biggest things we've learned over the years is the value of partnerships.
Yes, yes.
Because it enables us to do so much more at so less additional cost, and it just engages more people in with some of the same goals. So that was, another thing in our medical deal, on our own for some years, this is going back pretty far, we were providing eyeglasses and eye exams to adults. We would send them to an optometrist, he would do the exam, and then we'd pay for the glasses. Several years ago, well, then he retired. And over maybe 10, 15 years now, we've been working, interestingly, with the Oak Cliff Lions Club.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we do an initial screening of patients. And then on one Friday of the month, the Lions Club members come, and this is with their big exam bus out in the middle of our street. And there's a wonderful woman. She's a very Christian woman. She's probably in her mid-40s. And it's pretty like a perfect example of Christianity to me. And originally we were paying her because she closes her practice on the Friday that she's here. We're paying her $200 for that. And then after, I don't know, a short time, she came and said, Judy, I cannot charge you for this. I need to do this as a volunteer as well. So anyway, so we have an eyeglass program now where we pay for the glasses, very low rate, through the Lions Club, about $15 per pair of glasses. Everything else is free. And some volunteers have said that is the happiest program we have, because when people come and pick up their glasses and they can actually see, it's like a miracle.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, I know, Judy, also, I read on the website that you offer behavioral health as well. Yes. And that's for the whole family?
It can be.
So it's individual counseling or family counseling. Do you do group counseling when you can't? Well, I guess.
No, we have attempted that, but we've not really had much success with that.
Okay.
It was in September, actually, of 2016 that we entered into a partnership with what was then the Pastoral Counseling Center.
Yep.
Now, I think they have a terrible name, but anyway, it's their choice. It's the Center for Integrative Counseling and Psychology.
Yeah.
But they call it the center. Okay. And we are paying them for the services of 3 clinicians.
Okay.
And the program has been quite successful. But then when COVID hit and we closed down, there could be no more on-site counseling as of the 16th of March. But the 3 counselor clinicians were doing counseling virtually, and our census really increased. The last 2 months it's gone down. So in fact, we had a meeting yesterday to see what we can do, because the need is greater than ever. Right. So we do have the counseling program, and then the other thing I think I forgot to, 2 other big programs we have is our clothes closet. And that's always a good source for people within the congregation to support NDSM without it costing them any time or any money, because everybody's got these clothes they don't want. And then our other program is our tax assistance program. Yeah. We're the largest provider of free tax assistance in the Dallas area.
You know, I was a director of Legacy Counseling Center for almost 9 years. So I would refer, or a lot of the clinicians that we would refer to you guys quite a bit.
Well, thank you.
We appreciate you being there for us, because there was some services that we just could not provide, and just to help them get a lot of these clients, help them get through a challenging time. So that's my connection.
Oh, well, that's a good
as a partnership. So with COVID, what is the primary programs that y'all are maintaining right now? So,
well, the day we closed the Emergency Aid Center, as I said, was the 16th of March, Monday. And on that very day, we realized people need food. Few people were there. So we did something on a makeshift way. Packed some groceries in a bag and gave it to them.
Yeah.
But within a week, we had, we learned very quickly with COVID, we had to change.
Yeah.
And we had to have a new method of operation. So what we did for the safety of our clients and for our volunteers, and we had very, very few volunteers, was for food, we closed the emergency aid center, so but nobody was here in line filling out an application. We weren't verifying residents. We've allowed people, that I don't even know how to do. Maybe I shut it off. I doubt it, but people, we redid the program so that all of the clients lined up in the parking lot. They had to wear masks. There was social distancing. There still is of 6 feet. Our volunteers stayed in the pantry warehouse. Everybody got a standard order. First it was 45 pounds, and then it became 60 pounds. And that's the way we did it. You didn't get a different order. You didn't have the choice you had before. If you had 2 in your family or you had 5 in your family, you got the same amount of food. That was manageable for us. And oh gosh, now Bob, I've lost, I forget, and I just did these numbers. In 2019, we provided food valued at $1.89 million. This year, we provided food of, I want to say, $3,100,000, something like that. I don't have that number.
But it went up significantly.
Significantly. And it was also kind of interesting to find out that what everybody really, really wanted, maybe more than food, were diapers and baby wipes. We have spent tens of thousands of dollars this year buying them. So and we retained our Friday food basket program for seniors, which helps about 250, 275 seniors a week. Some of our congregations pick up food every Friday for very needy and take it back to distribute at the congregations to those people. So that's the way we changed that program. We closed financially. We just saw no way of doing everything. But as more and more people lost their jobs, we knew we had to do something. And so we said, okay, fine, we can do this remotely. We will accept applications on the phone. We thought we were really getting modern, right? So we began that the 27th or the end of April. Then we got really smart later on, and we decided we could do an online application. Now, keep in mind that we're all pretty old here who's working here. So technology is not, where we're best familiar. But we, that program has just worked. And then we made another step by telling the clients that they could email their documents to us. We have not shortened or we are not vetting less diligently or whatever than we did before. I think that's a crucial part of what we do. And we have guidelines, but we can always break the guidelines. So to help where
been flexible is what you're saying. You've learned to adapt and you've been flexible. So that's
exactly. And we had a budget of $340,000 for rent and utility assistance, and we spent close to $600,000 this past year for rent assistance alone. So our budget for rent assistance in 2021 is $700,000.
Wow. So did he I'm going to need to bring this to a close just to I wanted to kind of summarize. So how best can Northaven or the community support you now? I know financially that's one option. And so how else can we support your organization?
Well, and I must say Northaven we ask each congregation to make a financial pledge each year. Some do, some don't. Most of them do contribute every year. In Northaven, especially for the size of the church, has always been very generous with its pledge gift to NDSM. It's been $13,000 a year. We've also had very generous support financially from many of the Northaven members. We have fewer volunteers before COVID, fewer because so many of our volunteers from Northaven were aging out. Tom Walker, Jerry Hastings, I'm sure I can't even think, but a ton. I think that Northaven has a marvelous story in NDSM. It was one of the 5 founding congregations, and I would wish that it would take greater advantage of that to unite all of us who are Northavenites. Now, because, I don't think enough people know. I will say that there has been a recent, I don't know, I think that Northaven and NDSM should more immediately embrace each other. As we say to every congregation, this is your church. This is your temple. We are doing what is an intricate, basic mission of the church or the temple. And we're doing that at your request because you expect us to do it better than the individual church can do. And by working together, you can do so much more. And I think Northaven, it should be a better embracing of the relationship.
Well, I just want to say, I see your passion and your commitment to serving this community and maintaining this organization. So thank you so much for your many gifts, and your dedication. And I just know what a wonderful facility it is. And and I think that one of the goals here in the Northaven Voices is to keep talking about what the programs are, how we can stay engaged, especially with providing food, providing clothing, rental assistance, whatever we can do to support, because there's so much, and it's just it just continues to increase right now with so many.
And I think Northaven should be incredibly proud of being a part of an organization that has done as much and continues to do as much as NDSM does.
Yeah, and I believe that we do, and we are, but it's wonderful. I just thank you so much. And
You're more than welcome. It's my pleasure.
Appreciate your time, and listen to Northaven Voices, folks out there. Know that there's the services, but you can volunteer. It sounds like you can provide some clothing and food and just support to this organization. So thank you all, and we will see you soon. Thank you, Judy. You take care.
You take care.